Greetings, vloggers, bloggers, followers, and potters. Dustin from Dustin's Dynasty back at you again with the second half of this week's vlog. Today we're continuing our Forging Friendship series, and today we're going to talk about saying no. Previously in the other half of the blog, I said we would talk about boundaries, but we're going to be discussing that the following week. Today we're going to be working on saying no. And I just want to preface with this statement that saying no is hard, and saying no to a friend or relations can feel impossible, and it can, because I feel it. I feel it's hard to say no, and I like to do everything and be part of everything and buy into everything and be easily influenced. But you can say no, and it can hurt feelings and even end relationships. But sometimes, for your own health, you must realize that it is necessary to turn down a friend, and it's really hard. And this can make your friendship stronger, setting boundaries before you boil over with resentment. So, when do you say no? You should feel empowered to say no to turn down invitations to hang out whenever you are stressed out, tired, and not able to strengthen the friendship with your presence. If you turn your friend down, be honest. Be able to explain why you are able to say no, and be empathetic, but stand your ground. A good friend will accept and say no, even if it's not ideal for them. Relationships are consensual, and that means you get to decide how you feel about someone and saying no. Leave no room for interpretation. In the long run, your friend will probably appreciate you being honest. When you are saying no to a friend or changing your mind about something, a good boundary includes being considerate of them too, and also expressing your feelings as well as your explicit needs. Um, why do we have to feel like we have to say yes? Well, we live in a society where we consistently feel pressured to have a lot of friends, be busy, and pleasure others. In doing this, we often neglect ourselves, and as a result, spend years pleasing other people while ultimately making ourselves miserable. And that is no further from the truth. By saying no, you choose yourself over others, which is self-love and self-care. It's better for you in the long run. It is fair and to both yourself and the others to stop asking yourself how you feel and what you need to communicate that. It is also an attractive quality to show that you know yourself. This is a good way to weed out the poor friends, and if they don't respect your needs. Managing your time is very important. As far as this weekend, I did some things, and I went to an eye appointment, and I'm doing laundry today, and I'm doing some cleaning up around the house. So, sometimes you want to talk to friends, but sometimes they consume a lot of your time, and sometimes they don't have a full agenda as much as you do because you're in the independent world. So, you need to realize that your time is important just as much as their time is important. So you need to practice self-care and making time for yourself in order to help reduce stress, and it allows you to re-energize. And as autistic people, we need that ever more because our batteries are drained much more than the neurotypical person. And so when we have to go out and do things in a world that is not built for us, for example, I went to the eye doc. I went to the eye vision center in the local super center today. A lot of stimulation, there was a lot of change, a lot of things that weren't what they normally were. A big change, was a person who worked there for over 15 years is no longer there, and she retired. So we had a new person who was assisting me, and that was a change because for the last few years, I had been used to that person being there for me and being real easy and very compassionate. And not that the new person isn't just as compassionate or as honest, but it was just a lot of getting used to. And then things didn't go right. Um, you know, they measure your pupils with an iPad, and that the iPad wouldn't take my movement in my eye because my movement in my eye, being autistic, that's a common thing. Movement in the eyes was not a good thing. So just a lot of changes, and so it put me back, and I needed to recharge my batteries. Lo and I had to do my clothes, do my laundry today, because, it's the weekend. People do laundry on the weekend if they have a full engaged week. So yeah, just all that. I just want to emphasize why I brought that up, because our time is important. And as autistics, when we're overstimulated by all these things, we need more time to recharge, and we need to make our friends aware of that. That we've had a lot today, and we need our time. And self-care is very important. It takes practice. It's not easy, and it'll take time to learn, develop it. Um, do art, read, just do something that slows down, journal. I journal a lot, and it helps me process those feelings I feel sometimes about that friend, or about a friend, or any friend, or how I'm feeling about an enemy or something. All these things, are all part of that. Um, you know, but you need to do that, about your feelings. It's a beautiful and necessary way of honoring and watering your own plant first. um, Different types of people need different kinds of me. So an introvert reset by being alone, while extroverts work on being around others. And those personalities may clash very much. If you feel that you gain energy and reset by being around others, that's important. But for me, it's more being able to do my thing and be me. If you like to do alone time, carving out time to focus what you want in solitude, then it's very important. Your friend time will be better if you take care of yourself. And that's, with all this COVID stuff, I have limited my time out, because not only because of the virus, and it's a very serious thing, and I want to be very careful what I'm doing out there. But I also know that I need to treasure that friend time as much as I can when it's available. Don't wait until you're fed up, and that's what I'm been working on. I'm not been working, we're not waiting until I'm just so angry and so mad. Whether it's your spouse, lover, friend, when you when you put your feelings on squelch, you're eventually going to explode, and you're going to ignore little things. But if your friend has really upset you, or grates on you because you're doing something responsibility, don't let the feeling fester you too long. Initiate discussion. The problem when you're calm and when you've built up a resentment. Don't feel guilty. You can't say yes to everything. Even the best of friends don't always agree or see things eye to eye. Your friend may think it's perfectly reasonable to ask a favor of you that you may feel otherwise. That true friends seem to be sensitive to others when are we willing to accept no for an answer when it's reasonable. Sure, we all want to hang out with our friends and support them, but our personal cost of saying yes is too great, either morally or logically. It's okay to say no. If your friend can't accept no for an answer, recognize it as their problem, not yours. Some people can be extremely self-centered and demanding, the point of taking their friends and others for granted. Your friend may be overwhelmed with problems and just totally wrapped up in their self. It This person may have a hard time stepping no under any circumstances, particularly if they are accustomed to hearing you say yes all the time. Then in this case, you need to be firm and not back down. Carefully consider why you've decided to say no. Saying no always has ramifications for a relationship, so mull over the reason why you decided no and whether it's appropriate. It's easy to fall into the trap of saying no for a reasonable request if someone has made too many unreasonable ones in the past. Examine each situation on a case-by-case basis. Sometimes when people ask too many things, it gets too rough, and it can be really, really hard to keep that train rolling. And so you need to really slow it down a bit and say, I just need a break. Maybe I just need a break. Sometimes they are considerate and will give you time, but sometimes, it's just too much. Try to say no as graciously as you can. I know sometimes us in the autism world are too rough sometimes. We're very blunt, and we don't have a filter sometimes. So sometimes when we get really frustrated or very angry, we just want to really just throw it off at the handle and be really upset and just say what we want and not care if anybody says it. I remember I was in the grocery store this morning. I don't know if this person was on the spectrum or not, but the phone was ringing in the deli and they heard it ring and they almost dropped the meat and they said the S word. But you know what? It's okay because we all have problems. We're all learning. I believe this gentleman was learning, and it's a part of an experience. But in the real world, somebody may not have been as nice to him or as appropriate with him or would have done something about it if they had not addressed, if that issue would have had to been addressed with upper management, and that person may have lost their job over that because, in the real world that can't be tolerated because, and it's the same with, telling people no. You can tell no as long as you understand the consequences. That's a basic human right in most programs, is that when you say no, you must fully understand the consequences of saying no. Some people are unable to say no because they feel they need to be liked so great and their self-confidence is so lacking. If you have this problem, it is interfering with your relationships, personal and professional, and you may want to speak to someone about it, like your counselor, coach, or mental health professional who can help you better understand what the problem is and address it. So those are just some things, with relationships and friends that I wanted to get across today. I felt it was very important to address those things because, I think sometimes we in this world, we want friends, we're needy. Some people are needy. Some people are too needy. Some people just want that connection and don't realize there's plenty of other people out there that you can be connected to without having to just rely on just that one bushel in the basket or that first person that you see around the corner. And sometimes you have to go further and do your research and have a more qualified person or a more compatible person, if you will, to be connected to. So with that, I want to close my vlogs this week. As a reminder, you can be sure to give it a thumbs up or a thumbs down, whatever your choice may be. Also, be sure to tap that notification bell up above for settings for more of my videos when they arrive. Also, be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and be sure to like on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Dustin's Dynasty, on the web at dustinsdynastyusa.com, on Pinterest and TikTok at Dustin's Dynasty ASD. This vlog will be streaming on my podcast on many platforms, including Spotify at Dustin's Dynasty ASD, where the vlogs and the blogs are posted upon completion. All right, I want to thank you for listening and have a good week, everybody. We'll see you next week. Thank you.